Right, so yeah, good evening everyone. Yeah, thank you for coming today. So, and especially the previous speakers as well. There's a lot to say from the talk. So we're from a digital. So we're from a digital agency, Tribus. So I'm Chris. I'm the head of data, and this is Dom, who was one of the directors. So I'm Chris Smith. He's Dom Smith, and he's Tom Smith. So it's a bit of nepotism in the building, I think. So the talk today is it's all about understanding. It's all about understanding the business when it comes to analysis. In an era where data is the absolute lifeblood of organisations, the analytics team plays such a pivotal role in dividing like decision making within the business. So 20 years ago, when there was not as much data, the analytics, there weren't even an analytics team. Now we're just like the central point of answering all the questions: how do we improve the business? How do we move forward? So, but having all like the technical expertise and all the technology isn't enough anymore. You need to really understand the business, and you need to understand what you're talking about when you're talking to your stakeholders. So what we do at Tribus is we place a massive importance on business partnering and understand the business, get involved in the business, and trying to really build that partnership with the organisation we're working with. So Don will explain to you in a minute how we've moved on from creating an application that really drives value with the business.
Yeah, so thanks for the speakers before anyway. I mean, you've told me about data. I know nothing about data. What I do is I've got a digital consultancy. We've been going 7 years in Leeds. And before that, the top of the grey hair, been around the block in digital, for a few years. But as Tribus, we set up just down the road, Kirkstall Road, there's now 40 of us, looking after all sorts of companies, big and small, mainly big, and servicing them with all sorts of different services. We started off building applications, capturing data, and building reporting functions within the application to allow producers, and mobile applications and things like that. Fast. I can try to. It's not very interesting, but yeah, go for it. But yeah. So as Chris mentioned, we're going to talk about our relationship with Wilmot Dixon. So and what we've done for them, and how it's really important to understand the business that you're operating within. It's fundamentally more important really than the tools with which you're delivering the service. Is understanding what their aims are. If somebody said to you, I want a picture of my family behind the desk, they're not interested in the 9mm drill bit that's needed to put the hole in the wall, or the nail that comes back up, or the hook. They're interested in the picture of the family behind their desk. And that's the challenge that I'm faced with on a daily basis. I've got people like Wilmot Dixon, who are a £2 billion turnover construction company, 5,000 employees, about 100,000 indirect employees that work for them, lots and lots of projects. They come to me and they say, how can I rehome hedgehogs? Believe it or not, they do. It's massively important to them. How do I eradicate Japanese knotweed? And more importantly, how do I get unemployed dads back into work? And the answer to that, and I'm probably jumping down slide by slide, I'm used to this, but fundamentally the answer to that is driven by data. And I don't know where we are in the deck, but we're going to go on a bit of a journey fundamentally to understand how we help answer one of those macro challenges. But the key message here, I think, is you have to be in that conversation to understand what the challenge is. It's brilliant to have the tools at your disposal to build those blocks, to work with that data, to manage that data, to represent that data, to display it. But fundamentally, you need to understand what those challenges are. So our journey began years ago with these guys. I won't dwell on this. That is awful, that application. We're redesigning it. But that was 10 years ago. We built an application to capture how they manage on performances. Are they on time? Are they on budget? All that kind of stuff. Fast forward 10 years with these guys, we've now built 12 business process applications that manage almost every facet of their business outside of the boring stuff, the important stuff like finance. But fundamentally, everything from aftercares and defects through all the health and safety stuff, environmental stuff, risk management, performance, social value, like I said, lots and lots and lots of stuff. That's known as the My Suite. Lots of data points on any given year for this particular client. And we're the custodians of that, so we're responsible. We're an agency, we're only 40 people opposite Kirkstall Brewery down the road, but we're responsible for helping them make meaningful decisions with that data. To do that, like I said, I'm not technical at all, but what I am is quite good with understanding businesses, and I send our devs go out on site. I've got essentially a locker full of Tribus, Wilmot Dixon, high-vis vests, where our developers, designers go out on site, understand from the cold face what the challenges these people are facing on site. How do they? It starts with putting the data. Nobody wants to put data into a system, but they've got to. You've got to coerce them into it in order to help you can put shit in, you get shit out, don't you? So let's go out there and let's help build applications that put good data in, so we can work with that data. So where we're going to go now, and Chris is going to do more of the talking, which will be hopefully more meaningful. He's on a bit of a health and safety thing, because health and safety is huge. Construction projects are massive. They're filled with lots and lots of inherent dangers. There's heavy stuff, sharp stuff, moving stuff. People work at heights, all sorts of bad stuff happens. And the job of the health, this is where I sit, and this is where my kind of challenge starts for people like yourself, is when I get asked by the Director of Health and Safety for Kia, how do I stop the next accident happening on site? Because there's going to be one. With all that shit going off on site, heavy stuff swinging all over the place, people working up ladders, there's going to be another accident. And their job is to delay when that accident happens. And our job, seemingly, is to help them delay it. And what tools have we got? We've got data. So we'll go through some of the steps that we've got to help do that. Nice picture.
So this is assuming somebody has had an accident. This is not a real picture of somebody that's fallen off the roof. But I think what this does is it underlines what we're trying to talk about. So an accident on the building site, it's serious. It has financial repercussions. It's got reputational implications on the business. But there's a lot of factors that are involved in having an accident. Like it could be wet, it could be slipping, footwear. The slate or the material of the roof is not good enough, or it's literally just been out on drinking the night before, and it's just not objectively aware of what's going on in the environment. So what's happened is, Wilmot Dixon said to us is, how can we improve the situation? How can we mitigate the risk of somebody like this poor fella falling off the roof? So what happened is, in previous, they'd literally get they'd fill out a form, and as you all probably know, when you fill out a form, like it's often incomplete, it's lacking information, you can't even read somebody's handwriting, so there's absolutely nothing you can really get out of that form. It just gets, what happens, it gets put in the filing cabinet. So when it gets put in the filing cabinet, I know technology's advanced a lot, but you can't put Power BI on top of a filing cabinet and extract data out of it. There's absolutely nothing you can do with this. There's no analysis you can create from bits of paper, really. So Wilmot Dixon came to us and said, how can we improve our health and safety record? How can we put processes in place to mitigate what's just happened in this situation? So this is where Tribus came in.
So yeah, this is just an example of an application we did. We started off by digitising the clipboard, and this is just a flavour of some of the stuff we do amongst the plethora of applications that we've got. This is data capture, But this is step one on the journey to being able to make meaningful use of somebody falling off that ladder. Let's capture it digitally, let's share it with those other 200 projects and do all the stuff with it. So yeah, that was essentially just step one.
It's videos and all. So basically, how do we get from a bit of paper to an application? I think Mark touched on it, and it's to do with business partnering. And Liam in the back, who was here, if you wave your hand, he knows all about business partnering. So as a company, we adopt business partnering approach. We try to embed ourselves within the organisation. So we're in there in meetings. We're part of the decision-making process. We're part of the fabric of the organisation. Like we go out to the building sites and we're there. We're actually involved in the conversations. It's not a transactional relationship between us. And if you talk about like internally where you're part of an analytics team and the sales team comes to you, it's not a transaction process. You need to be involved in that. You need to understand who the sales manager is, what they're like, what the goals are, what his KPIs are, her KPIs are, and what really drives them forward to make that meaningful change. So, like, if you take it to a higher level, like every business has unique set goals and challenges and industry dynamics. And if you comprehend the business landscape, you can really make that meaningful change within the organisation. It's not a one shoe fits all type of approach when it comes to analytics. You can't just build a nice KPI suite and then just pass it off to your sales team, because that team may not interpret the data correctly. Like a lot of people, I know they like charts, but then a lot of people like tabular to data, so you can't just assume that your analysis that you've got in your team is going to have the value and it's going to add that distinctive like touch to the business. So what we've done is
we have to look at, and this will be teaching you guys. I've learned this by watching some of the talks today. We have to understand what data contributed to that guy falling off that roof. To understand how we can mitigate the next guy falling off the roof. And thankfully, and the theme of our talk is about understanding the business by being fully immersed in that £2 billion construction company. We know these. We know what contributions are. We're a custodian of that data. So what job was he working on? What material was he using? Was he trained? Did he have certificates? Was he being supervised? And then external stuff, day of the week, geographical location, what was the weather like? All of that stuff feeding in to the contributing factors that help nothing 100%. So the data suggests we can get close. But what were the contributing factors to falling off that and having that accident?
So, like, we honestly think that this could only be achieved through business partnering and that holistic view of the organisation. It's often easier to work in silos when you're in analytics and just dealing with the sales team, dealing with the logistics team, and then somehow trying to piece it together when you've created all these fancy dashboards. But we believe in a holistic view of the organisation. So, like, analytics, it's not just about crunching numbers, generating reports and making all these fancy dashboards. It's about fundamentally changing the business and changing the conversation within the organisation. So we need to understand like the nuances of the business, understanding its pain points, identify opportunities, understand what somebody likes, what somebody doesn't like, and then you can then start to formulate that insight and design the analytical approach that truly addresses the organisational needs to give that genuine insight to the business.
This just represents another example of us being the custodians of that data. So we're still taking it on that journey. Where we're going to get to is what have we done? Have we stopped? Have we been able to predict when somebody might have an accident and been able to put mitigating practices in place to stop that? And by being the custodians of the aftercare application and building that and knowing everything about the building materials that were being used or carried, the type of vehicles that were being managed, all of that, having that ingrained, embedded interest more than anything in the data that you're working with, because it's more than numbers. the numbers mean, they have a meaning, and it's about really looking at what is the meaning of that, what is the meaning of that data set, what is the meaning of that fact, and understanding the macro facts that wrap around it.
So what we've done is basically create a rod framework back. We've created all these applications and we've just got billions of data points. We've just got that much information. Will not Dixon like, can you analyse this? Can you put this in a graph? Can you turn this into a dashboard? Can you make this into a metric? And that's the problem that I think you'll all probably find is you just get inundated with just requests because people love data and people get excited by it. So what we've tried to do is use our understanding of the business effectively to circle that back and go, because we know you as a business, we know your strategy, and we can push back. So there's no point being that guy in the room that goes why when you haven't got any solutions. But because we've got this business partnering approach and we're part of the fabric of the business, we can offer solutions to why. This is why you should be doing it. You should be doing this, you should be doing X, you should be doing Y. And that's really helpful, I think, in analytics. Like, because of this approach we've got access to the right people, we know the right people, we can go straight to them. And like leaving the background from my day in the previous employees, I was part of just a random meeting one day and somebody mentioned about waste in a supermarket. It was just a throwaway comment, it didn't mean anything. But we went away as an analytics team and we built a dashboard and we saved them X amount of millions per year. But that would never have happened in an environment of a scoping session where, as an analytics team and as a customer, we want X, Y, and Z. This just came about because of a throwaway comment, just a general conversation. So if we wound back to the poor guy that fell off the roof, he hasn't died. He's okay. He's safe and well. So what has now happened with the different analytics and the different applications that we've created is he becomes like a walking data point. So from when it used to be a bit of paper and somebody used to note down, he is now a data point. So there's so many different data points that he is creating, just literally being laid there. Either if it's been the weather, or how many days he's been on site, what his qualifications are, what was the material on the roof that he slipped off. So having this it creates a live environment for Wilmot Dixon to go, this is the risk factor associated to his situation at this moment in time. Before he's not on his roof, Wilmot Dixon would have gone, right, the chance of him falling off the roof for X% because of X, Y, and Z, and that's because of the applications that we've created. So having this profile of the incident, we're able to then go another step further and reference different building sites. So this is a pretty extreme example on the right side, but I think it shows a point. So Berkshire, there's 48% of somebody falling off a roof or a high level, whereas somebody similar to them in the same working environment in Jersey is only 9%. So what we can do now is their building managers can go, why am I 48%? Why are they only 9%? Is that because I've got too many apprentices on site? I haven't had an audit on site for the last 6-8 months. The building material we're using is probably unsafe or is not good enough. So this is the environment we're decided to create.
It's only by understanding the business that we can keep adding to the valuable insight that builds up. Can I just say that some of those stats I think my design's like creative license. I don't think
there is not yet. Yeah.
But it is, by being on site we can add in all sorts of different data into that can provide value to what the contributing factors, and that's limitless, even down to the types of food being worn, the clothing being worn, everything can contribute to that. And data captures processing, I think, as we've been shown today, is absolutely limitless by all you claim.
Just a quick one. So you've ended up with this big aggregated data set. How much of this was part of a roadmap to get to there? And how much of it was like an incremental at 1, at 2, at 3? Holy shit, I've got loads. Let's do some more.
Fantastic question. 10 years ago, this was an isolated application, antiquated system called Michael. Well, I say that, it's great, but we've actually redesigned and built it. Again, my designer has a laugh. We put the old one rather than the new one, which is the new one I don't know about. But 10 years ago, we built an isolated application called My Performance, just capturing cost, time, social value, environmental impact. And then over the years, we started, in fact, application 2, application 3 were maybe 4 were built in isolation also. You know, that's how business was 10, 8, 7 years ago. And then we were still developers, not really analysts or people using data for insight. We were still developing in isolation. And we thought, hang on a second, development framework. We can build this more efficiently in the same environment, just from a development perspective. So we can build modules, call them modules, they're still applicable, but 4, 5, 6, 7 in the same environment. And so I'd say more luck than judgment, more than anything else. And we've eventually got ourselves to a place. Businesses like Wilmot Dixon they're not isolated. We're not special. We're not sector specific in where we operate, but probably 80% of our work is within the built environment. And what I mean by that is probably tier 1, tier 2 customer group. So Wilmot Dixon here is an example. Waits here, Balfour Beatty, people like that. Maybe Balfour Beatty are a bit more sophisticated, but in the built environment construction sector, thinking is legacy, never mind technology. And we as developers and appliers of development technology are helping progress.
Do they give you a steer on technology, or is that you got blank check?
No, I wouldn't never say a blank check.
Well, no, sorry, not blank. Not with the blank check.
No. I think that from a consultancy perspective, we are led by being innovative. So, if you work in a consultancy or agency environment, you will fall short if you wait for a customer to give you a brief. It's on us and you as technical, as digital innovators, to come up with that brief and to say, hang on, I can look at all these data sets, I can look at all these disparate data sets that are seemingly meaningless to health and safety. The type of materials being used on that there. I can look at that because I know about it. I know it exists. I don't know about it too. I know that exists within your environment. And I know that it might have meaning on what's just happened there. I think it's up to us to, and we do that. So we have to take that innovation.
But the technology stack is your
in terms of technology. Sorry, did I just...
No, I probably asked the question, man. I said the word blank check, that's probably correct.
If only. Quit in the world if it was. But yeah, just basically circling back to basically everything that we're talking about is analytics it's great, pretty charts are great, and showing all these trends are nice, but if you don't truly understand your audience and what is driving the business forward, then what is the why? What's the point in it? And it's probably a bit of a harsh thing to say, but we're kind of wasting our time if we don't truly understand the environment we're working in, and we're not working on the same page as the senior leadership team or the owners of the business. We need to be working hand in hand with them. So
I think, other than representation of improvement of people not falling off.
Is that because you're educated? So I used to work in aerospace, and I know about being in environments like that. So what is that because you're educating them, or is that because you're providing them with the statistics to say, oh, this is what the percentage chance it is, etc.
It's a combination.
And do you get enough data?
I don't think you can ever have enough data. But fortunately with this client, which is why it's been used as the guinea pig representation, we're not just custodians of the data, we're custodians of building the application to collect the data, so we do have a steer and a handle on saying, how can I say,
super interesting.
X, Y, and Z in terms of, even that application. I think we just showed a screen grab of that was probably iteration 1 of the.
That's how you capture it.
The digital accident. We control that, so we're kind of controlling the data that goes in.
Are you guys doing anything to like proactively stop accidents happening? Like for example, in a plant, you might have like image recognition or image data. Do you do anything like that?
Yeah, it's an interesting. We work with ourselves as a business. No, but we work with in terms. I'm telling you, one of the organisations we work with, or a number of the organisations we work with, access control companies. That manage a lot of that biometric data, facial recognition data, time on site, all of that sort of stuff. We integrate, work alongside those sorts of businesses to do what we can to mitigate.
Super interesting. I had a lot of experience with health and safety and learning what not to do, what to do, and it was a lot like basically a massive journey of like learning health and safety and what to do, what not to do, etc. So I haven't seen anyone actually go and say like, all right, we've seen you like pick up a man like 50 kg weight. You shouldn't be picking up my break back. Like proactively say,
Like with like health and safety, like reactive is it's completely pointless, isn't it? Somebody's down inside you can't bring them back to life. So what we're doing is we're creating like a live risk score of the overall site in general. So if you give it a percentage, I would say 96% is the risk on this site today is say 4%, and then an influx of say unskilled workers joining, if that goes up to 10%. So then what happens is you've got your site manager going, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm at 10%. Something might happen to that. I don't know what's going to happen, but because I've got an imbalance of workers, I ain't got enough senior people to apprentices on site. Oh, now it started raining, so my 10% then goes to 15%. And that's the kind of like the live data we're creating, and would never be able to do that because if Wilmot Dixon came to us and said create something, no offence to them, but they're a construction company. They don't know that, and they would never think of that. And that's why, because we're ingrained in the fabric of their business, we could go, do you know what? Why don't you move it into a live score of this is the current situation of where you are. This is other sites within like the same remit as yours. You're only 10%, they're 50%. Why is that? What is going on? Do we need to do more training? Do we need more audits? And that is part of this sort of talk, really.
Going back to,
you could never do that.
So when you're asked, actually, it's made me think. Interesting tech. There are companies looking at the Fitbit for construction, Fitbit for manufacture, all sorts of stuff, which we'll get.
Super interesting. And do you like create like a risk profile per person? Or is it like you were saying, is it propensity for like a risk to happen?
You're a risk to me because you've only done 4 days on site and you've only got this qualification. So as soon as you scan in on the turnstile, it doesn't flag to the site manager, but you kind of downgrade the score or whatever happens. So you become a walking data point and a walking risk.
Walking risk. But the more times you go back to work, it becomes more reliable, right?
Yeah, so if you're on a move with 2 people of a similar score to you, that's B. We need to get somebody on site to sort that out, and that can only come from that knowledge of the business. It's not because it's not a transactional relationship. They don't tell us what to do, and we create it. We actively contribute to the business and basically guide them.
It's like walking insurance risk score.
Basically.
It's an accident to rid or in your work?
It depends which accident it is. Not all accidents are riddles.
Portable incident, death, disease.
We've got accidents, incidents, and observations with it.
Yeah. So is that riddles and
The worst thing is with riddles, when we first went live, it's I'm going to share some crown jewels here, but when we went live with the first iteration of Sheet about 10 years ago, during the test staging environment, we were testing riddles and fatalities. The only people that got notified of riddles and fatalities was Mick Wilmot. That didn't go well.
Who's this Mickey Mouse who's just gone?
Yeah.
So thank you.